Hundreds marching, chanting, and demanding change after the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade. Protesters on both sides say a day after the law of the land was reversed. And the first major update to our nation's gun laws in more than a generation. What lawmakers agreed on after several mass shootings and weeks of negotiations. And the Greensboro Staple prepares to reopen months after shutting their doors. How the business plans to move forward while still honoring the legacy of the former owner. But first tonight, we begin with breaking news out of Danbury. Danbury fire officials confirm they're working on an active rescue along the Dan River. They say a person went missing several hours ago. They've had teams out there looking for the person since then. Fire officials say they could be searching through the night. They could not share any information about the missing person. This is a developing situation. We'll bring you the latest on air and online. Well, now to another big story we're following. A Lexington woman faces new charges after a deadly crash left one 8-year-old dead and a 3-year-old in the hospital with serious injuries. Police charge Amber Whitaker with felony death by vehicle and felony serious injury. Investigators say the suspect had a prescription drug called methadone in her system when she crashed her car with 4 children inside. WFMI News 2's Avery Powell spoke with the half-sister of that child, who her family says is still fighting for her life in the hospital.
This could have all been prevented.
Katie Langford says Tuesday morning a text changed her family forever.
My 3-year-old baby sibling who has so many dreams is fighting for her life because her mother.
Her 3-year-old and 4-year-old half-sisters were in a car crash in Lexington. Police say their mother, Amber Whitaker, was driving on methadone when she slammed into the back of an NCDOT truck. A 15-year-old and an 8-year-old were also in the car. The 8-year-old died.
I shouldn't be at the park with just one of my siblings. I shouldn't have to be going to look at an 8-year-old in a casket soon.
Katie says her 3-year-old sister, Gracie, is still in the hospital with a spinal cord injury.
At the moment, my sister cannot breathe on her own. If she doesn't start breathing on her own, the worst may come.
Her other sister, deeply impacted by the crash.
Every time my 4-year-old sister's in the car, she flinches almost.
But Katie is looking forward.
Me and my father have started to prepare for when she gets to come home. And I'm not saying if, because my baby girl's a fighter. She's nicknamed Tank for a reason.
As for Whitaker,
I don't think I could face her.
Katie hopes Whitaker faces consequences, but she says it won't fix what happened.
And even when justice is served, it's still the beginning for my family.
In Lexington, Avery Powell, WFMY News 2.
Whitaker is in custody right now. Her bond is set at $500,000. She has a court appearance scheduled for next Thursday. Well, now to a story dominating the conversation nationwide. Hundreds marched through the streets of Winston-Salem this afternoon after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The court ruled yesterday that access to abortion is not a constitutional right and should be left up to each state to decide. People participating in the event say the decision targets women and will force the birth of unwanted babies.
And I am a whole person, just as I am. I am not a vessel for a baby, for someone else's life. My life is valid just as it is. I deserve that choice. You deserve that choice.
Organizers say the decision won't end abortions. They say many women will choose to get them illegally in an unsafe manner. We've also heard from plenty of people celebrating when the Supreme Court made its ruling. The North Carolina Right to Life organizations called yesterday a happy day for mothers and their babies. The group supports the court's decision to give power back to the states. It says the initial Roe v. Wade decision misled people.
We think that the Supreme Court was erroneous in their decision finding a constitutional right to an abortion. And as laws got promoted and challenged in courts and overturned, it has really divided the American people. And unfortunately, a lot of people are confused as to when life begins.
He says his organization believes life begins at conception. He says he'd like to see abortion made illegal here in North Carolina. Those were just some of the many voices that made themselves heard after the Supreme Court ruling. Pro-life and pro-choice advocates across the country held events celebrating and criticizing the decision.
It is about babies. It's about her rights. It's about my rights. It's about making sure that she and I have the life that we deserve to have.
We're out here to let them know that we're not going to stand for it. We can't just let them continue to push their agenda when the majority of our country does not agree with this decision.
Law enforcement expects protests to continue nationwide in the days and weeks ahead. They've warned against the possible rise in political violence against elected officials and Supreme Court justices. The Supreme Court ruling has many asking questions about other situations surrounding pregnancy, like IVF treatment. We dig into its future in about 8 minutes. President Joe Biden signed a bipartisan gun control bill into law today. The law represents the country's first significant change to gun laws in 3 decades. The bill calls for enhanced background checks for people under 21, closes the boyfriend loophole, and creates incentives for states to pass red flag laws. The bill doesn't go as far as the president wanted it to. He says the agreement shows compromise is still possible in Washington.
Today, we say more than enough. We say more than enough. It's time when this seems impossible to get anything done in Washington. We are doing something consequential. If we can reach compromise on guns, we ought to be able to reach compromise on other critical issues, from veterans health care to cutting-edge American innovation and so much more.
Every Democrat in Congress voted for the bill. 15 Republican senators and 14 Republican House members supported the new legislation. Community activists in Charlotte held an event today trying to help cut down on gun violence in the city. The nonprofit organization Help Charlotte held its annual Stop the Violence Day. People affected by gun violence and law enforcement officials had a chance to speak on the issue. The event featured several panels. They included poverty, community engagement, and better relationships with law enforcement. Organizers say the issue goes beyond getting guns off the street. Monique, we got a little bit cooler the past few days, but we have a chance to see those temps bite back into the 90s.
Yes, we're getting a little bit warmer tomorrow as compared to today, just adding a few degrees to that high temperature. Standing here tonight, we're not looking at much of any active weather. Our satellite radar picking up on a little bit of more cloud cover, especially in the western portions of the state. And you can see some of those have spit out a little bit of rainfall at times, but elsewhere across the central Piedmont, a little bit more clouds, but nothing really in the way of active weather. When I widen this view, we start to see more active weather as we look down to our south, the bordering between Mississippi and Alabama, and then as we look further north across the Ohio Valley. But as high pressure remains in place across this part of the woods, we won't really see much activity. And that's why things have been dry and quiet today, and expecting them to get warmer tomorrow though. And that's because as that high pressure shifts. Today forecast high was 87. Guess what? We reached 87. That's where we stopped for today. So that accuracy streak rolls on now for 22 days. Tomorrow forecasting a high of 89, just adding on few more degrees to that high temperature. So we're expecting tomorrow to be a little bit warmer than today, but also tomorrow afternoon we could possibly see a little bit more activity on our radar as compared to today. So some small changes, but not a drastic change. But as we go through the course of this week, we will see some days that will feature more rain chances. And I know a lot of folks out there with the green thumb are looking forward to the potential for seeing some more rain. I'll talk more about it coming up.
Months after the former owner died, Danny's restaurant says it's almost ready to reopen its doors. WFMI News 2's photojournalist Jay Caper spoke with the group preparing to bring Danny's restaurant back and learned how they plan to honor the tradition of a Greensboro staple.
We became the new owners of Danny's in May. So we've been in here renovating, upgrading some stuff, a lot of cleaning, that kind of thing. and we're just waiting for the health inspectors. What I'd like is to hear from him Monday and hopefully open by next Saturday.
I have a passion for cooking. She's been working in the industry for over 20 years, and we were looking for a place to buy.
The legacy continued, still got the Danish name there.
You know, a lot of people know about it. They have regulars that are family to the servers and the kitchen staff and the owners, the past owners. You know, everybody was close. So it's nice to be able to open the doors as the same restaurant and everybody have the same place that they like going to come back to.
People know Danny for his food. For the most part, we do the same style food, but it may taste a little bit different. It may hopefully taste better.
Yes, lots of regulars. Very excited to see them back. I cannot wait. We've missed them a lot, and also looking forward to meeting new people too.
Danny's closed back in January when longtime owner Danny Thanos died. The restaurant immediately closed. The new owners announced plans to reopen last month.